All right, so let's check out these grass clippings here. So if you look at it, this is what the clippings look like. I don't know if you're gonna say this is good or bad. I mean, this is pretty much on side discharge or rear side discharge, so this is fine. But the first row right here was basically done on mulching. It didn't really do a great job of cutting it down into decomposing pieces like this right here, right? I mean, like some of this, this is definitely a lot smaller, right? These clippings are a lot smaller than this, right? This is rear side discharge, and this right here is probably like mulching. Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're talking to you about the real truth about this Milwaukee M18 mower. So if you've been following the channel, you know, I think I have maybe like 2 videos and maybe even a couple shorts that also tell you not to buy this mower because it's a piece of junk. But we kind of went through, you know, all the woes and exchanges and have a lot more experience with it over the last couple months. So we're gonna talk to you about the real truth about this mower. Stick with us. All right, you guys, so this right here is a Milwaukee M18 FUEL Mower. And like I mentioned earlier, if you've been following the channel, we have a couple shorts and we have a couple videos about this mower, okay? So this video right here is not gonna be a full review about this mower. There's already like 2 videos-ish on the channel about that. But this one here is to talk to you about the latest update and the final verdict about this mower, at least for now, okay? So, just to catch you all up, so when the Milwaukee mower first was available at a big box retailer, we ordered it immediately. It was delivered a couple days later, and for some reason it just looked like it fell out of the back of a UPS truck or something. But the mower inside, you know, looked okay. It wasn't like damaged or dinged up in any way. So we've been using it, and then, you know, after a couple minutes, it just shut down. We just, okay, that's weird. We just keep using it, couple minutes, shut down. Yes, we were using our own 12 amp hour batteries because we just have some, and we put the other ones on the charger. But you know, we thought something weird was going on. So we exchanged out our batteries and stuff, 9.0s, 8.0s, 6.0s, and they're still doing that, okay? We just used it over the next couple weeks, and what we noticed immediately was that the problem was getting worse. Like, it just becomes more frequent. It used to be something like maybe once every 2 minutes or something like that, and then it started becoming like every like 15 seconds or something. It became unusable. And at that point, I said, well, don't buy this mower. That's how that review really came to be. And for some reason, there must be like this cult following or something like that. Or Team Red has a huge following. That Milwaukee has built a brand of like loyal people to it. Everybody came to its defense. Oh, you got a dud. There's an issue with that. You're not using it right. Batteries are. Anyways, long story short, the point I'm trying to make here is that we paid a premium price. $1,100 is a premium price for a mower, and you know, for a premium product, and we used it, and we did not get a premium experience. Therefore, the experience with that was bad. That was the point that I was trying to make. Yes, I do understand almost every manufacturer, no matter what industry, whatever it is, they have a percentage of defects, okay? But at that time, if you went to the Milwaukee website, almost every review on that site had something about pretty much the same problem. So it didn't seem at that point that it was, you know, a handful of duds. It seemed like everybody was getting duds, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, not to jibber jabber about that, let's go ahead and talk about this, okay? So, like I mentioned, we did get it exchanged. So this one is brand new. Milwaukee did not send this stuff to us for free. Like I mentioned earlier, we bought it, we just got it exchanged, okay? So this is not sponsored. Anyways, the point is, this is a newer mower that we've had for the last couple weeks. We've been using it about 2 or 3 times per week to do cutting and doing a bunch of stuff that you really shouldn't be doing with the mower, like trying to mulch up a bunch of branches or like thick leaves, let's say, pine needles, all kinds of stuff like that, just to really see how powerful and stuff that it was. So what I'm gonna tell you right now, if you wanna turn off the video right now, if you really want the mower, go ahead and buy it. If you're considering buying it, then I would say don't buy it, okay? And let me tell you why. So let's answer a few questions. First, this is probably the most powerful battery-powered mower made by a power tool manufacturer on the market right now, okay? So there's, you know, power tool manufacturer, maybe a gimmick or maybe a category or something like that, but including Greenworks, and one of the other brands, like all those other brands that are available in big box stores, this one's probably definitely the most powerful. It's hands down more powerful than the Makita XML08. I'm sorry, almost everything we're gonna be comparing it's gonna be compared to the Makita XML08, mainly because that's the mower I've had for a couple of years, and that's the mower I just have so much more experience with, right? it's a lot more powerful than that. Not 2 times more powerful. It doesn't like blow it out of the water or anything like that, but you can definitely tell there's a difference in power between this one and that one, okay? The other one that we have a lot of experience with is the Craftsman V60 mower, the self-propelled mower that came with the 7.5 amp hour battery that we got, you know, a couple years ago for about 180 bucks. That was probably the best value mower ever. And I would say that one and this one is fairly comparable, except this one is just a hair more, okay? So I will go ahead and say that. So I know a lot of people are going to care about performance and power. This one does have it, okay? So let's talk about some of the other quick things that we complained about that we necessarily didn't like too much or whatnot. This one-handed lever adjustment, it does work well. One thing I noticed when you're just roughing it around, it will get dislodged because the teeth between, you know, the separations aren't that deep. It will easily get dislodged. That's one thing we talk about. The other thing to talk about here, let's talk about this metal deck, okay? So both of these have metal decks. The one on the Makita is about 1 gauge thicker. You don't really notice that, you don't feel it. Unless you try to like lift it up, you'll definitely tell that one's way heavier. The other thing to note is that it doesn't really make a difference between that 1 gauge. The thing I want to point out here is that if you're going to get a mower, make sure you get a metal deck mower, okay? A lot of people are going to say, oh, the Ego stuff is plastic and it works fine. Yeah, it probably works fine, but let me tell you a little bit about some of the things that I've noticed about using a plastic mower, deck mower versus a metal deck mower. So there's 2 big things. One is that if you're on a lot of bumpy terrain, like if your grass and stuff isn't just like straight up flat, the plastic mower will tend to just like bump around a lot more because it doesn't have that weight to hold it down, okay? So a metal mower, a metal deck mower will just, you know, go, it'll still bump around, but nowhere nearly as much as, you know, like that, right? The other thing about the metal deck mowers is if you're cutting tall stuff, the plastic deck mowers will tend to just hover over it because it's so light, all right? The metal deck mowers will hold it down, right? And it'll get cut. The blades will actually do a lot more of that cutting action on that. So that's one thing I did want to point out. Both of these have metal decks. Both of those are good. This one takes 2 batteries. That one also takes 2 batteries, all right? The other thing to point out here is that this one has bigger wheels in the rear and smaller wheels in the front. The Makita has, you know, the same size wheels on all 4, right? And I'm going to go ahead and say this, they both roll equally well. Both of the ball bearings, they both have ball bearings in the wheels and they roll very well, okay? The other thing to point out here is this one has a light. As you can see here, it's got lights. And at first I did say, yeah, it's a little bit of a gimmick, but I will go out and say, I will eat those words, okay? A lot of times when you're cutting, it just gets dark, just like in a split second. You're gonna really enjoy using those lights. There's been a couple of times I've been out here trying to cut, mainly because it's gonna rain the next day or whatnot. You just gotta get it done really fast. And you know, sometimes you just don't have time to do it, so you just do it at dark or dusk. So it is useful. It's not the brightest thing ever, but it is nice that it is there, okay? Let's talk about a few other things we mentioned here real quick. So I left this bag on here. I know a lot of people are gonna say you're just picking at stuff, but one of the things I'm gonna say is that this bag, when it gets full, it gets heavy, right? So a lot of times, everyone who uses the mower with the bag full knows that, you know, you'll hear the bottom drag, right, across the grass or across the concrete or whatever, right? One thing I noticed about this bag is that when it does weigh in or get filled, it does weigh down a little bit more than I'm used to, because I can tell it's just scraping across like driveways or sidewalks. I'm not used to seeing it scrape or hearing it scrape. And one thing I did notice upon inspecting is that this bag does not have a cross bracing or a strong back or whatever you want to call it here, that braces from the bottom to the top. It literally just has the top hanging off of the handle right here itself, okay? Because of that, when it's full, it does tend to sag a little bit, but like I said, somebody's gonna say, you're just nitpicking at stuff, all right? The other thing I pointed out on this mower previously was this self-propelled mechanism, right? So when you're using it, and since your hand has to, you know, this lever is here, you can't really do this. You can, but you can't really maneuver that well. Yes, it will still continue to burn. So this lot right here is roughly around almost about an acre. And just cutting around that, you will feel a lot of this to burn, okay? You are holding this down with your thumb like this, okay? Sometimes you mitigate around that. We mitigate around that by just holding your whole palm like this, which is not a problem. But then, you know, your maneuverability gets a little, you know, shot, let's say. So, you know, just nitpicking at that. The other thing about this self-propelled mechanism is, as you can tell here, in order to use the self-propelled mechanism, you have to engage this barrel, right? And then go like that, or bail, I mean. It's really like a safety bail that helps you go forward, right? This one, you can't do it without that. With the Makita, one of the things that I'm used to is not necessarily having to hold another bail to do that. Like sometimes you're in a weird awkward spot, you're trying to cut that one area, right? You can just push it like that. Oh, it's off. You can just push it like that, right? And it'll go. So just wanted to point that out, you know, just nitpicking and stuff here. The other thing to point out here, as you just saw, is that this one doesn't have a ramp up time and this one does. And in other videos, I did complain about that. And I'm still mixed on that. There's sometimes, there's been at least a couple times I will admit that the not having the self-propelled ramp up was good. Like sometimes you're just outside cutting, trying to get it done as fast as possible, running around like a crazy person because it's starting to sprinkle, right? That way you don't have to wait for that slow ramp up time for the self-propelled mechanism on this, right? So that actually gets enjoyable. And I think they mainly did that, I feel like, mainly because their focus on this mower is all about power and performance, okay? This one, it does have a little bit of ramp up time. So every once in a while, if you're just outside like a crazy person trying to get it done, it'll get a little bit annoying because you're just pushing it, trying to get it to go faster. There is that, okay? Those are the main things going on with that. There's one more thing I did want to put, or two more things. So on this one, there's a button here that actually enables you to engage high speed mode or high lift mode. What that really means is the mower is running at full speed the whole time. On this one, there's a button right here. It's really called eco mode. It prevents it from ramping up. So they both have buttons that do things, but they do exact opposite things. So this one I really enjoy using when you're trying to pick up leaves or branches or needles or, you know, whatever, clippings or whatever, mainly because you can engage high lift mode and run it all the time, okay? On this one, you can't do that. And that's one thing I do wish that this mower did have, is that it did have a like full speed or high power mode or whatever you want to call it. It's rare that I ever use. I don't think I've ever really used the eco mode here, okay? Actually, no, I take that back. There's been at least twice I've used it because I remember it was not our lot that we were cutting. So there's that. I do wish that, you know, this one did have a full power mode. The other thing to point out here is that on this mower, the Milwaukee M18 mower, it actually discharges out, right? It discharges out and to your left if you're using it. And this mower right here discharges traditionally, like most mowers, off to the right, okay? Some people are gonna say I'm nitpicking, like I mentioned, but if you mow a lot and you care about where the grass clippings go because you don't want them to go to a flower bed or, I don't know, a garden or whatever, one thing you will have to keep in mind is that they just discharge differently. So if you mow a lot, you probably have a pattern that you mow in, and that you do with this mower. So on this mower, we did have to change it up a little bit because we do side discharge. So that's one thing I did want to point out. Also, I know a lot of people are going to point this out. This handle here on the Makita does not fold forward or back by any means. You can't, or not quickly. In order to do that, you do have to unlock the two bolts with the impact wrench, let's say, or ratchet, and then move it forward. It just comes off all the way. On the Milwaukee, you just, you know, has a quick disconnect, you know, like most people do. Pin, store, fat, right? That doesn't bother me. I really don't care about that, mainly because I don't store the mower like that. I literally just roll it in and there it goes. I know Makita's point is that, you know, most professionals, and this is designed for professionals and commercial mowers, they just roll everything up until their trailer and they just walk off, right? Or drive off. On this one, I guess there's not too much play with this. I can eventually see what Makita's going to be saying, you know, after time, it'll probably get it'll probably start getting annoying. But for me, it hasn't gotten too annoying. You know, if the mower did have that available feature, I would like it to happen. Just have it. But would I really use it? Not really. That's just really going with that. Both of these, you know, have, like I said, metal decks and good blades. You can actually get blade replacements on both of them. The thing I would say, the Milwaukee mower has blade replacements a lot more easily available, as you would expect. The Makita one, you kind of have to buy from, you know, Makita dealers and stuff like that. The thing about the Milwaukee blade, I'll see if I can throw up a picture or whatnot. It's got like this specific, instead of two circles, right? It's got one circle and one triangle. I guess that prevents idiots from putting it on backwards. But the point is that that's just really there, okay? That's what's really gone. Let me tell you now, let's close this video because we've been jibber-jabbering too much, all right? So, the biggest question that most people are going to answer is, should I buy this mower? Well, I'm going to tell you, you should buy this mower if one, you are a high performance enthusiast, right, or a tool enthusiast, or you just really love Milwaukee M18 tools or just Milwaukee tools, then yes, you should buy this mower, okay? If you're not in that category and you're not necessarily looking for the most power, right, then don't buy the mower, mainly because you can get other mowers, same if not better, right, or just a hair off for significantly less. Okay, so this mower I ended up buying for about $1,100. This Makita mower was about $400. Okay, and normally it's not $400. I think it's around $600 or $700 maybe. But there was a couple times when it was on clearance, and also it was being sold online for about $400. And for $400, you get four 5 amp hour batteries, which is equal to, let's just say, about 2 36 volt 5 amp hour batteries, or you could just think of it as one 36 volt 10 amp hour battery, whereas this one $1,100 gets you this mower and two 12 volts. They're in series, so it becomes one 36 volt 12 amp hour battery. Okay, so the other reason I'm telling you this is because if you buy this mower and you are not in the Milwaukee M18 platform, that means if you run out of juice, you're gonna have to stop, charge, and then run it again, or you just buy another set of batteries. And Milwaukee M18 batteries are roughly around $200 each, so let's just say that's $400. $400 additional to this is about $1,500. At that point, this becomes a $1,500 mower, and that's just ridiculous for a push mower, in my opinion. Whereas this one, the Makita batteries are just plentiful, and they always run promotions about batteries and stuff like that. So if you're in the Makita platform and you don't have a lot of Milwaukee tools, right, I would buy this one, the Makita. Unless you just, for some reason, you just really want to buy this, go buy it. No one's really going to stop you. That's what it is to it, okay? But make sure you take it out of the box and use it a couple of times. Make sure you didn't get a bad one before, the return window and all that stuff closes, right? So that's what's really going on with that. So like I said, I hate saying this, but if you're just the person who doesn't have already Milwaukee M18 tools, I would not buy this unless you're planning on getting into the Milwaukee M18 platform. And this will probably be a good way to get into it because it does come with two 12 volts, okay? Other than that, I mean, like I said, it's a good mower. I personally, like being a value, or let's just say embracing weighing the value category a lot more. If you're one of those people, don't buy this mower. It's just expensive, okay? It does well, it's very powerful. There's not too many things wrong with it. If you get a good one, it's just $1,100. That's just the problem for me. You could probably get even a gas Honda HRX will be about $600 or $700, right? Or even, like I said, this one right here, when it's not on sale, maybe $600, I think. But you can get it for about $400, and there's other brands and stuff like that out there. The DeWalt ones I would probably avoid unless it's like the first gen 20x2 one with a self-propel. That was not that bad, but I do hear a lot about the latest generation ones just having issues just dying out quickly, okay? So anyways, we've jibber-jabbered on too long, and that's the final verdict about this. That's all I can really say. Like I said, I'm only here to tell you about my experience. You can decide what's really up for you. Hope this video helped you guys out. Otherwise, have a great day, and then we'll see you guys next time.